Are you someone who finds solace in solitude? Do you often feel drained or uncomfortable in social situations? In this video, we delve into the profound teachings of Buddhism to uncover the reasons behind your aversion to social interactions. Reason 1. Hanging out with the wrong people. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of surrounding ourselves with individuals who uplift and inspire us. The company we keep can significantly influence our thoughts, actions, and emotions. If you find yourself feeling drained or negative after spending time with certain people, it might be a sign that they are not the right company for you. An insincere and evil friend is more to be feared than a wild elephant. The Buddha's teachings on friendship and association are rooted in the understanding of the law of cause and effect, or karma. According to this law, every action we perform, whether physical, verbal, or mental, has a corresponding result or consequence. By associating with people who engage in unwholesome actions, such as lying, stealing, or harming others, we are not only exposing ourselves to their negative influence, but also creating the conditions for our own unwholesome actions to arise. Firstly, a good friend is someone who helps and supports us in times of need. They are reliable, trustworthy, and willing to lend a helping hand or a listening ear when we are facing challenges or difficulties. Secondly, a good friend is someone who shares our values and aspirations. They are not only interested in their own happiness and success, but also in the happiness and success of others. They are motivated by a sense of purpose and meaning beyond their own self-interest. Thirdly, a good friend is someone who gives us honest and constructive feedback. They are not afraid to speak the truth, even if it is uncomfortable or difficult to hear. They are willing to point out our mistakes and weaknesses, not to criticize or judge us, but to help us grow and improve. Fourthly, a good friend is someone who inspires and encourages us to be our best selves. They are not only a role model and an example of what is possible, but they also believe in our potential and abilities. They are willing to challenge and push us out of our comfort zone, not to compete or compare, but to help us discover and develop our talents and strengths. Lastly, a good friend is someone who brings joy and positivity into our lives. They are not only optimistic and cheerful, but they also appreciate and celebrate the good things in life. They are willing to share their laughter and smiles, not to impress or entertain, but to help us lighten up and enjoy the present moment. By cultivating friendships with admirable friends, we are not only improving our social life and well-being, but we are also advancing on our spiritual path and journey. A person is known by the company he keeps. A man of good character should be chosen as a friend. He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Just as a tree that is continually nourished by water and fertilizer will grow and flourish, so too will a person who associates with admirable friends. By surrounding ourselves with admirable friends who uplift and inspire us, we are not only benefiting from their positive influence, but we are also creating the conditions for our own wholesome actions to arise. Reason 2. Feeling not confident about yourself. Lack of self-confidence is a common and often debilitating issue that many of us face. It can manifest in various ways, such as feeling uncomfortable or anxious in social situations, avoiding new experiences or challenges, or constantly seeking validation and approval from others. In Buddhism, this lack of self-confidence is seen as a result of our misunderstanding and misperception of ourselves and the world around us. The first step towards cultivating self-confidence, according to Buddhism, is to understand and accept ourselves as we are, without any judgment or comparison. This means acknowledging and embracing our strengths and weaknesses, our successes and failures, and our joys and sorrows. It's about recognizing that we are not defined or limited by our thoughts, emotions, or experiences, but rather we are the awareness and the compassionate presence that lies beneath and beyond them. Meditation and mindfulness practices can be powerful tools in cultivating self-awareness and self-acceptance. By bringing our attention and focus to the present moment, we can begin to observe and understand our thoughts, emotions, and patterns of behavior with more clarity and objectivity. We can also learn to let go of our attachment and identification with these thoughts and emotions, and instead rest in the spaciousness and peace of our true nature. Understanding and cultivation of our interconnectedness and interdependence with all beings. This means recognizing that we are not separate or isolated entities, but rather we are part of a vast and intricate web of relationships and connections. It's about understanding that our actions, words, and thoughts have a direct and profound impact on the world around us, and vice versa. By cultivating this understanding and awareness of our interconnectedness, we can begin to let go of our fear and anxiety of judgment or rejection, and instead embrace the freedom and joy of being authentic and true to ourselves. We can also learn to cultivate loving kindness and compassion towards ourselves and others, as we recognize and honor the shared humanity and vulnerability that lies beneath our differences and diversities. Self-confidence is not seen as a fixed or static trait, but rather it's a skill and a quality that can be cultivated and developed over time. It's about understanding that confidence is not about being perfect or always having the right answers, but rather it's about being willing to show up, to learn, and to grow, despite our fears and uncertainties. It's about recognizing that true confidence is not about impressing or pleasing others, but rather it's about living in alignment with our values and our purpose, and making a positive and meaningful contribution to the world. Loving kindness meditation involves cultivating feelings of love, kindness, and compassion towards ourselves and others by repeating phrases such as, "May I be well," "May I be happy," "May I be at peace." Reflection and contemplation involves reflecting and contemplating on our strengths, accomplishments, and qualities that we are grateful for, as well as areas where we can improve and grow. Gratitude practice involves cultivating a sense of gratitude and appreciation towards ourselves, others, and the world around us, by acknowledging and expressing thanks for the blessings and the challenges in our lives. Setting and achieving goals involves setting realistic and meaningful goals for ourselves and taking consistent and determined actions towards achieving them, as a way to build and strengthen our self-confidence and self-efficacy. Service and generosity involves offering our time, energy, and resources towards the well-being and the happiness of others, as a way to cultivate a sense of purpose, meaning, and self-worth. Cultivating self-confidence is a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-transcendence. It's about understanding and embracing ourselves as we are, while also recognizing and honoring our interconnectedness and interdependence with all beings. By incorporating the profound and practical teachings of Buddhism, we can cultivate self-confidence not as a means to an end, but as an expression and a manifestation of our true nature, which is wise, compassionate, and free. Reason 3. Being scared of what others think. The fear of judgment is a pervasive and deeply rooted concern that many people face. This anxiety can prevent us from living authentically, expressing our true selves, and forming meaningful connections with others. Buddhism offers profound insights into understanding and overcoming this fear, enabling us to cultivate a state of equanimity and inner peace. By embracing the principles of non-attachment, mindfulness, and self-compassion, we can learn to navigate the opinions of others with grace and confidence. In Buddhism, fear is seen as a natural but often misguided response to the impermanence and uncertainty of life. The fear of what others think stems from our attachment to external validation and approval. This attachment can lead to a constant state of anxiety, as we become overly concerned with how we are perceived by others. Equanimity refers to a state of mental calmness and even-mindedness, especially in the face of praise and blame. Developing equanimity helps us remain balanced and composed, regardless of how others perceive us. To cultivate equanimity, practice observing your reactions to others' opinions without becoming attached to them. When you receive praise, acknowledge it without letting it inflate your ego. Similarly, when you face criticism, accept it without allowing it to diminish your self-worth. By maintaining this balanced perspective, you can navigate social interactions with greater ease and confidence. Mindfulness is a key practice in Buddhism that involves being fully present and aware of the current moment without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we can become more attuned to our thoughts and emotions, including the fear of what others think. This awareness allows us to identify and understand the underlying causes of our fear, making it easier to address and overcome. When you notice anxiety about others' opinions arising, take a moment to observe it mindfully. Acknowledge the fear without trying to push it away or get caught up in it. Simply being present with your fear can diminish its power over you. Over time, this practice can help you develop a more grounded and resilient sense of self. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend. By developing self-compassion, you can create a more supportive and nurturing internal environment, which reduces the need for external validation. To cultivate self-compassion, practice self-affirming thoughts and actions. When you feel judged or criticized, remind yourself that you are worthy of love and respect, regardless of others' opinions. Engage in self-care activities that nurture your well-being and reinforce your sense of self-worth. By building a strong foundation of self-compassion, you can become less reliant on external approval. The fear of judgment is often fueled by the tendency to compare ourselves to others. In Buddhism, this comparison is seen as a form of attachment that leads to suffering. The Dhammapada, a collection of sayings of the Buddha, advises against comparing oneself to others, as it disrupts our inner peace and contentment. To let go of comparison, focus on your unique journey and personal growth. Recognize that everyone has their own path and challenges, and that external appearances can be deceiving. By shifting your focus inward and appreciating your progress, you can reduce the tendency to compare and diminish the fear of judgment. Living authentically means embracing your true self and expressing it without fear of judgment. This requires courage and a deep sense of self-acceptance. Buddhism teaches that authenticity arises from a clear understanding of our true nature, free from the distortions of ego and attachment. To embrace authenticity, start by identifying your core values and beliefs. Reflect on what truly matters to you and what you stand for. When you align your actions with these values, you create a sense of integrity and inner strength. This alignment makes it easier to remain true to yourself, regardless of others' opinions. Overcoming the fear of what others think is a journey that involves deep self-awareness, compassion, and mindfulness. Buddhism offers profound teachings and practices that can help us navigate this fear and cultivate a state of inner peace and equanimity. By understanding the nature of fear and the concept of non-self, we can begin to loosen the grip of external judgments on our sense of identity. Practicing equanimity, mindfulness, and self-compassion helps us develop a resilient and balanced mind, capable of withstanding praise and blame with grace. Letting go of comparison and embracing authenticity allows us to live true to ourselves, free from the constraints of others' opinions. Through the practice of loving kindness, we can transform our fear of judgment into an opportunity for growth and connection. By extending compassion to ourselves and others, we create a more harmonious and accepting social environment. Embracing these Buddhist principles not only enhances our personal well-being, but also contributes to a more compassionate and understanding world. The fear of what others think is a common but surmountable obstacle on the path to spiritual and personal growth. By integrating Buddhist teachings into our lives, we can cultivate the inner strength and wisdom needed to navigate social interactions with confidence and ease. This journey towards freedom from fear is a testament to the transformative power of mindfulness, compassion, and authentic living. Reason 4. You never invest efforts. Relationships form an essential and beautiful part. They are the threads that connect us, support us, and help us grow. Building and maintaining these relationships require effort and commitment. If you find yourself feeling uncomfortable or disconnected around others, it might be because you haven't invested enough time and energy in the relationship. Firstly, Buddhism emphasizes the importance of understanding and accepting ourselves and others. In the words of the Buddha, all beings are owners of their karma. Their happiness or unhappiness depends on their actions, not on my wishes. This means that everyone is unique, with their strengths, weaknesses, and experiences, and it's essential to respect and appreciate these differences. By practicing mindfulness and meditation, we can cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and others, which forms the foundation of any meaningful and fulfilling relationship. Secondly, Buddhism teaches us the value of empathy and compassion. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, while compassion is the desire to alleviate their suffering. In the words of the Dalai Lama, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. By cultivating empathy and compassion, we can not only deepen our connection with others, but also create a more harmonious and peaceful world. Thirdly, Buddhism encourages us to practice generous and selfless giving. In the context of relationships, this means giving our time, attention, and support to others without expecting anything in return. In the words of the Buddha, the gift of truth excels all other gifts. By giving generously and selflessly, we can not only express our love and appreciation, but also inspire and uplift others. Fourthly, Buddhism emphasizes the importance of clear and kind communication. In the words of the Buddha, right speech is to tell the truth, to speak gently, to speak at the right time, and to speak useful words. By practicing right speech, we can not only avoid misunderstandings and conflicts, but also deepen our connection and understanding of others. Fifthly, Buddhism teaches us the value of patience and forgiveness. In the words of the Buddha, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. By cultivating patience and forgiveness, we can not only heal and strengthen our relationships, but also free ourselves from the burden of anger and resentment. Lastly, Buddhism encourages us to practice gratitude and appreciation. In the words of the Buddha, let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little, and if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick, and if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So, let us all be thankful. By practicing gratitude and appreciation, we can not only express our love and respect, but also cultivate a more positive and joyful outlook on life. By incorporating the profound and practical teachings of Buddhism, we can cultivate understanding, empathy, compassion, generosity, clear communication, patience, forgiveness, and gratitude, and transform and enrich our relationships. Reason 5. Being very sensitive. High sensitivity is a trait that can be both a blessing and a challenge. It can make us more empathetic, intuitive, and creative, but it can also make us more prone to anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, especially in social situations. Sensitivity is seen as a natural part of our human experience. It's a result of our interconnectedness and our ability to perceive and respond to the world around us. However, when our sensitivity becomes a source of discomfort or suffering, it's a sign that we need to cultivate more mindfulness and understanding. The first step in managing our sensitivity is to acknowledge and accept it. We need to recognize that it's a part of who we are, and that's okay. It's not a flaw or a weakness, but a unique characteristic that can be cultivated and transformed. The only real failure in life is not to be true to the best one knows. By understanding the nature of our sensitivity in light of these teachings, we can begin to see that our discomfort or anxiety in social situations is not a result of our sensitivity itself, but a result of our attachment and aversion to certain feelings and perceptions. For example, we might be attached to the feeling of comfort and ease, and averse to the feeling of discomfort or anxiety. We might be attached to the perception of being liked or accepted, and averse to the perception of being rejected or criticized. The third step in managing our sensitivity is to cultivate mindfulness and compassion. Mindfulness is the practice of being present and aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment or attachment. It's a powerful tool in managing our sensitivity, as it allows us to perceive and respond to the world around us without being overwhelmed or reactive. Compassion is the practice of understanding and caring for ourselves and others in times of suffering or difficulty. It's a powerful tool in managing our sensitivity, as it allows us to transform our discomfort or anxiety into wisdom and understanding. As the Buddha said, you can search throughout the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of your love and affection than you are yourself, and that person is not to be found anywhere. You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. The fourth step in managing our sensitivity is to balance our need for solitude and connection. While it's essential to have time and space for self-reflection and rejuvenation, it's also essential to have time and space for connection and belonging. By balancing our need for solitude and connection, we can manage our sensitivity in a way that's nourishing and fulfilling. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. By cultivating a mind that's mindful, compassionate, and understanding, we can transform our sensitivity into a source of wisdom, intuition, and creativity, and lead a more fulfilling and harmonious life. Reason 6. Being a person who likes to be alone. Firstly, it's important to understand that there is nothing inherently wrong or flawed about enjoying solitude. In fact, in Buddhism, solitude is seen as a powerful tool for self-reflection, spiritual growth, and the cultivation of inner peace. The Buddha himself spent years in solitary meditation and contemplation before attaining enlightenment. Human beings are social creatures by nature, and we all have a fundamental need for love, understanding, and companionship. This is where the Buddhist teachings on interconnectedness and compassion can be incredibly helpful. Interconnectedness refers to the idea that all things and phenomena in the universe are interconnected and interdependent. In other words, we are not separate, isolated entities, but rather, we are all part of a vast, intricate web of existence. Understanding and embracing this interconnectedness can be a powerful antidote to the feelings of alienation and discomfort that can sometimes arise in social situations. It can help us to see that, despite our differences, we are all fundamentally connected, and that our actions, words, and even thoughts have an impact on the world around us. Compassion refers to the ability to understand and empathize with the suffering of others, and the desire to alleviate that suffering. Cultivating compassion can be a wonderful way to transform our relationship with others and with ourselves. When we approach others with compassion, we are able to see beyond their flaws and imperfections and to recognize their fundamental humanity. We are able to understand that, just like us, they are trying their best to navigate the complexities of life, and that, just like us, they too are deserving of love and understanding. When we approach ourselves with compassion, we are able to see beyond our own flaws and imperfections and to recognize our fundamental humanity. We are able to understand that, just like others, we are trying our best to navigate the complexities of life, and that, just like others, we too are deserving of love and understanding. By incorporating these practices into our daily lives, we can begin to see the world and ourselves in a new light. We can begin to understand that, despite our differences, we are all fundamentally connected, and that despite our flaws, we are all fundamentally deserving of love and understanding. Reason 7. Feeling too much pressure or stress. Buddhism offers us a unique perspective on stress and provides us with various practices and techniques to manage and reduce our stress levels. According to Buddhism, stress is primarily a result of our attachment to and craving for certain things or situations and our aversion to or fear of others. This attachment and craving create a sense of dissatisfaction and restlessness in us, which can manifest as stress. To manage and reduce stress, Buddhism emphasizes the importance of cultivating mindfulness and awareness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the current moment, without any judgment or distraction. By being mindful, we can become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, and gain a deeper understanding of the causes and conditions of our stress. One powerful technique for cultivating mindfulness and reducing stress is meditation. Meditation is the practice of focusing our mind on a single object or thought, such as our breath, a mantra, or a visualization, and allowing ourselves to be fully present and engaged in the current moment. By meditating regularly, we can train our mind to be more focused, calm, and resilient, and develop a greater sense of inner peace and well-being. Loving-kindness is the wish for all beings to be happy and free from suffering, and compassion is the wish to alleviate the suffering of others. By cultivating loving-kindness and compassion towards ourselves and others, we can reduce our stress levels and improve our relationships. When we are stressed, we often tend to be critical or harsh towards ourselves, which can exacerbate our stress and make us feel more disconnected from others. To counteract this, we can practice self-compassion, which involves being kind and understanding towards ourselves when we are facing difficulties or challenges. By being more compassionate towards ourselves, we can reduce our stress levels and be more available and present for others. When we are stressed, we often tend to be more reactive or defensive towards others, which can create tension and conflict in our relationships. To counteract this, we can practice being more patient, understanding, and empathetic towards others, and cultivate a genuine wish for their happiness and well-being. By being more compassionate and kind towards others, we can reduce our stress levels and create a more positive and harmonious atmosphere in our interactions. To reduce our stress levels, we need to cultivate a greater sense of letting go and non-attachment, and learn to accept and embrace the present moment as it is. Letting go and non-attachment does not mean that we do not care about things or situations, or that we become passive or indifferent. Rather, it means that we cultivate a greater sense of equanimity and balance in our mind, and learn to respond to situations and challenges in a more skillful and compassionate way. By letting go of our attachment and craving, we can reduce our stress levels and experience a greater sense of freedom and peace. Feeling too much pressure or stress can significantly impact our relationships and interactions with others, causing us to withdraw from social situations or act in ways that are not conducive to healthy and harmonious relationships. To manage and reduce our stress levels, Buddhism offers us various practices and techniques, such as mindfulness, meditation, loving kindness, and compassion, and letting go and non-attachment. By incorporating these practices and techniques into our daily life, we can cultivate inner peace and calm, and navigate our social interactions with more ease and confidence. Understanding the reasons behind our discomfort around others is the first step towards transforming and improving our relationships. By incorporating the profound and practical teachings of Buddhism, we can cultivate self-awareness, self-confidence, and compassion, and lead a more fulfilling and harmonious life.